What's going on, my creative collective? Welcome to your daily creative reading for August 31st. Let's dive right in. Let us away. Oops. Okay. My cat's like, forget it. She was chirping at me when I was doing a spread for myself. And she was like, I'm having a dislike of this sound. So, okay. You are not alone. Okay, dearest you, we know everything in the universe is perfect, even in its flaws, and we view the creations of spirit in total awe. All is unique, yet part of a unity of existence. But the human experience is a little different from ours. You tend to have a specific standard for what you consider ideal, and this isn't serving you right now. So forget your idea of perfection and see through our eyes, allowing things to be as they are without judgment. Don't wait until a perfect moment or mood to start something. Instead, enter life with all its flawsomeness. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Let others be who they are too, imperfect and human, complex or simple. It doesn't matter, for there is always something to discover, experience, and love. When you drop the need for an ideal, you uncover the real treasure, which will be far more interesting and valuable. Loving you like crazy. Okay. Let's see where we go today. Spirit, what messages do you have for my daily creatives for August 31st, please? Three of Wands. Interesting. I'm feeling, so I heard this song, Wishing, Hoping, Praying. It used to be like in this Lunchables commercial or something like that when I was much younger. And it's an older song for sure, but I'm like, then it was like I heard that song, and then what came to mind was this like doing, like, okay, now you do, like, now you have to surf. Like it's almost like, it's like standing on the street, like, good. I don't know. And then it's like the call to adventure is okay, the Two of Cups. I was going to say the call to adventure is doing, or doing something, about doing something along those lines. My cat's just trying to get out of the room. She doesn't have opposable thumbs, and in case she needs the bathroom, I'm just going to go let her out right now. I'll be right back. Come here, baby girl. There we go. I just don't want her to feel trapped or stuck, you know? So, my little bean. Okay, Three of Wands, Two of Cups. Spirit, what message do you have for my daily creatives for August 31st, please? Tower, wow. So I feel like this is like a very sharp realization. I'm hearing sharp learning curve, S curve, whatever that means to you. There could be something or someone where you're like, yep, going for it. Like, you're just like, yep, that's it. Got it. Like, out of your head, into your heart, into the world kind of thing. If this is on a project, it could be that there's something that that just lands in your heart in this way. It could be people you're working with or things along those lines, but you're just like, yep, got it. And you're like off to the races with it. The Tower, though. Interesting. Things that could become a tower if they go unchecked is the Five of Wands. It could be like just letting... It feels like competition, but it's not like a competition. Like, I'm feeling like it's more so like your perception of it could become a tower if it goes unchecked. Because of perhaps the way that it disconnects you from your momentum. Like, it's almost like it's like this feeling of like, ugh, oh my God. Like, that's the way conflict and competition can sometimes feel, right? Like, they can make you feel like, I do not have the energy for this. But I think it's about affirming more so that you do have what it takes. Not just that you have what it takes, but that, like, you know, competition doesn't necessarily mean conflict, right? Like, it doesn't necessarily indicate that. Four of Swords is in your protagonist. Antagonist is Emperor. I think that this is like, I think this is a call to kind of stay above the fray of anything that comes up in terms of competition at work or in any kind of way. Like, we don't want to slip into things like envy, but at the same time, I think it's important for us to be in the energy of, I don't know, I think it's just important that we're in the energy of knowing who we are and understanding, like, what's actually worth our time. Because if we invest so heavily in these competitive energies, we can get kind of disconnected from who we are, and then we can't show up as our best self in our best energy and in our highest overall good. So I feel like the Four of Swords here is talking a little bit about being a little bit more discerning, pulled back a bit, and that as being a form of rest and rejuvenative. And I think that that's part of this regeneration. It's like regenerating your energy. Could be from this tower. The challenge, I think, is going to be knowing what to invest in and what not to. What to invest in and what not to. Not because there's like a worth thing happening here. I mean, possibly, but I think things might move really quickly, and you have to be in your King of Pentacles, and there has to be like a recognition energy. You have to recognize what it is, not just that's like worth your time, but it's because that sounds kind of like superiority and all of that. But I think it's like understanding what is worth your time based on what you value and what's important to you. Again, on the split, Hanged Man and King of Pentacles, it's going to take like a bigger picture. There's going to be like a longer take that you need to have. How do we overcome this Four of Pentacles spirit? This challenge of holding back a little bit. The Lovers. Wow. Getting in close. Getting in real close to whatever it is. Like, if this is a person, it's like maybe going for it. If this is people, if this is groups of people, it's like just leaning in. This is connection. The Lovers was also in the original, like in the traditional Rider-Waite, it was also about choice, right? It's the choice card. So I think this is a little bit about understanding your choices and choosing the thing that makes you want to lean in close, that makes it so that your Gemini is like, bloop, like super activated. That's the sound of activation. But making it so that energy is alive within you. What makes it that you want to pour out, right? And into other cups and be poured into, because it's never, I don't know. I don't want to say always never, because I don't like the absolutes, but I feel like it's so interesting that it's safer sometimes to pour out than be poured into, right? It's quite interesting. The light's flickering a little bit there, so Spirit's like, hey-o. Take note of that last one. Ace of Pentacles, yeah. I feel like that's where you start to recognize what is, what has the potential to grow and what has the potential to take real root in terms of ideas or work or in relationships too. Like leaning into the thing that makes it so that you can't help but share in a pentacle. And sometimes it's just such a visceral response. Like we can't predict it, but it just happens and you're like, oh. And it's just a giving. It's a very giving energy. Five of Pentacles. Interesting. Because I was looking at this, the Four of Pentacles and the Ace as a 5. And I think it's like you'll feel like you missed out on something if you don't give. And that's where it's like understanding that that's that reciprocity, right? Like you have to invest as well. You have to invest as well, which sounds like the most obvious thing that someone could ever say about relationship or fulfillment. But what I'm seeing here more so is like understanding that you have more of a key than you might think. You have more of a key than you might think. Queen of Swords. Yeah, there's a clarity here. I'm just going to move my cat's backpack. It's ridiculous that she has her own, but I'm just that kind of pet parent. So, yeah, I think that there's clarity that you're gaining here. And I think that you kind of have to pull back, not be overly emotionally detached, but stay detached from the emotions that drain you, right? That leave you in this kind of Five of Pentacles place. If it's a construct that you've been leaning into mentally more than what's been happening around you. So it's really about making choices about what you're focusing on. Spirit, what messages do you have for my daily creatives for August 31st, please? Death. Wow. Yeah, if you transform that energy, if you work with and transmute that energy, I feel like this ace is going to be so obvious to you. It's going to be so obvious to you because I feel like the Queen of Swords, oh, my hand's itchy. The Queen of Swords is like an energy of like obvious, like what is obvious? The Queen of Swords, there's not much that is not obvious because there's so much clarity in this energy. So I feel like it's sort of like put your Captain Obvious cape on and there's something to that. Yeah. Ten of Wands. I think that there's a way that like being in this positive expectation place kind of became a burden because it was never doing. It was never doing something. So it's like doing something now. What does that mean? It can mean just putting together a to-do list, doing something that you've been putting off for a while, right? Like I've had to call my insurance provider and say like, hey, I need new glasses. How much do I have for a balance this year? Because I got glasses at one point and then in another year. So it was kind of split. So it's like little stuff like that. Like when you take little steps, the positive planning, it becomes grounded in something. That's like such a, I don't know, basic example, but still. Two of Cups, Five of Wands. Whoa. Page of Wands. I'm seeing fireflies. Like that's like this sort of little flicker of recognition, like this like firefly that you can see in the distance of what you need to do. Because I feel like this is like what came out. The Two of Cups is like what you need to do. You need to move towards. These are connection energies, right? These are also love energies. So it's like moving towards. But it's gonna, I don't think it's going to be like, you know, as like bam, as like the Emperor or the Tower here. I feel like it's going to, or even the fire, like they're reaching for this fire, but I feel like there's something about the subtlety of this energy in terms of what you bring to where you are, be that a project, work, relationship, friendship. But there's something about this energy that is, it's like a flicker of a recognition. A flicker of recognition. Yeah, Page of Pentacles and the Four of Swords. I think this sort of idea of a flicker of recognition, very on point because it's sort of coming from within the third eye here. And the Four of Swords, clarifying the Four of Swords, really does tell me that there's... I think there might be healing that needs to take place, which is the most obvious interpretation of the Four of Swords, but... I think whatever this realization is, you may need a nap afterwards. It's that energy of like integration, integrating the energy and allowing it to flow. And I think releasing some expectation as well, and thoughts about what should be, which is expectation, but still. Then we have the Page of Pentacles here, which is, I think, a little bit of how you're... it's almost like there's like a restoration of feeling safe enough to be curious about the process. Like that's where I feel like this Emperor is showing up in the antagonist position, because maybe there was a need to be in this Emperor position, but it was not from a place of true power. It was a place of avoiding something, and that's where this Tower, it kind of comes crashing in a little bit. And the things that could become a tower if it goes unchecked, because that was the Five of Wands, I'm inclined to believe that there was something to do with the way you see yourself, this I, me, my of Aries, first house, right? that it's obviously it's transforming here. Like the death card is here for a reason, depending on how you use it, right? Depending on how you use it. But the Emperor energy, can you clarify this for me, Spirit? How do we step, and this, I'm almost getting it as like ego, like this sort of, how do we step out of ego in this energy here, Spirit, in our highest good? Can you clarify this for me? Queen of Pentacles. It's like nurturing yourself, and the King of Swords. So like a depth of clarity. Wow. Dang. Okay, so on the bottom, it was the King of Swords, the Queen of Wands, the World, and Judgment. So I'm almost getting this is like, it's like, how did you nurture your physical environment, your physical self, your sense of safety, right? With this, the way that it's showing up here. And it's like, how did you give yourself clarity? Like these, I'm almost getting these as like ancestors or possible like protectors. Like what came to mind was like reparenting yourself. Reparenting yourself a little bit, but I think it's also these energies that you're cultivating within you that are inherent to and part of this Emperor, because we have several queens here, right? We have the Queen of Swords, we have the Queen of Pentacles, and the Queen of Wands. The only one we're missing is the Queen of Cups. And I feel a bit like that's sort of present in the Two of Cups, where that's kind of you, like you're showing up in this sort of emotional energy, and that's how this pulls you out of, and I feel like it's probably a bumper sticker, but like feeling is the answer, which is funny. But nonetheless, I'm getting this impression that the emotions here that come from nurturing yourself are going to ease whatever sting this tower may have brought upon you. And sometimes sometimes we need to let these towers fall. Like sometimes they're just not, we are not our best selves before the tower falls, and that's their purpose. That's why they're there, right? Like that's why they exist. A lot of feminine energy in this spread too. So this is like the receptivity, the cups, right? The Queen of Cups, because we have the Queen of Swords in terms of the feminine energy. We have the Queen of Swords. We also have the Daughter of Wands, the Daughter of Pentacles, the Mother of Wands, the Mother of Pentacles. It's like a lot of receptivity. So like, how are you a container for your heart? Like, how are you a container for emotions? Like, how are they flowing? How are you giving yourself that space? Interesting. And I'm seeing container here too with the Four of Swords. It's like this energy of container, like not containment, but like, how are you giving yourself this sort of nest, a nest from within which to grow? And that's that sort of sense of safety, like this like physical environment. Maybe that's what this is here, is like a transformation of that, but not through the avenues that you might have thought with this tower. And that's where so we have the World and Judgment, which is like, it's kind of like a decision that you make that changes everything, which sounds like, I mean, everyone wants one of those, right? But I think that's what this tower is, which tells me that it's not so much coming from outside of you, but I feel like this is maybe a tower that's coming from within you, and you're just pulling it all down. It's like a tower of Jenga blocks. You're just knocking it all down. And you're like, you know what? I want to play like this. Let's do a different thing. Because I don't like the idea of game playing, but it's like, let's play a different game, right? You're disinterested in the tower. Or the precarity of playing a game with a tower. Like, it just feels silly and counterintuitive to health, healing, happiness, mental health with the Four of Swords. Like, so I think it's like you're bringing down this tower, and I think it's telling you a lot about yourself in terms of the way that you've approached. It's almost like the way that you've approached yourself, relationships, intimacy. And we have decisions here. We have the Lovers and the Judgment card. This, like, I'm honestly getting that it's a little bit of you starting fresh. I kind of get this as like a little seed planted. But like it's a seed. I feel like this Ace of Pentacles is the new beginning, but it's not just a new beginning that's like shiny and new. It's like related to something bigger. And I think that you're going to see that bigger picture once you make this, like this decision, whatever the decision is. Like no one can make decisions for us or anything along those lines. But I mean, let me get some more clarification here. Spirit, can you tell me more about this decision? This decision energy? So we have the Queen of Swords. There it is again. We have the Seven of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Knight of Wands. Wow. So this decision, I think, is the decision to honor your truth. And sorry for the creaking in your ear. I think this is the decision to honor your truth and also to take a step back and I'm almost seeing this as like the information that it's like informing the movement forward with this Knight of Wands, right? Like this, it's like the Five of Wands turns into this Knight of Wands where it's like it was this intense competitive energy and you're just like, no, like I know what I want. So it's not a competition. It ceases to be in that energy, in that like ego energy with like the kind of flip side, like the reverse of the Emperor where it's like you don't need it to be in that energy. And I think this Judgment card is like moving away from that. And that's where this Ace of Pentacles comes into play, which doesn't just bring material security in greater number, but also resources. The Pentacles are about finances, yes, but it's also about, oh, my cat's trying to get in the room. Oh, 1 second. If there was ever a question, yes, I am run by my cat. Anyways, yeah, so I feel like this is sort of integrating that competitive energy because you're aware of what you need to do and what you need to move towards. And again, it's connected to something bigger than where you are right now. You've had to have a lot of patience while you've gotten clear. You've had to have a lot of patience during that time, but it's really connected you to this truth, to I think your authentic self too, like to what it is that you want, like what is it that you need? Yes, but what, like, I don't know. There's something here that's connecting to the Magician really strongly for me because of the Ouroboros. But it's like, how is this truth? Like I see this, these are truths, right? Like these are healing truths. And it could be stuff to do with like reparenting, putting in the work that they didn't for yourself, or putting in work in terms of, the Seven of Pentacles, it to me is like an investment. It's an invested card, but it can also mean that you need to have more patience with yourself, because in the same way that it took many years for something to, develop into a belief for you, it can take equal amounts of time for that belief to transform into something that you can expand from and beyond. So it's just giving yourself, I think, more credit, giving yourself more credit then what? She's back. Let me just get her backpack. Yes, baby girl. There you go, sweetie. Come on. I really just live to please this animal. That's fine. I know. Yeah, so I think it's about connecting to that truth, and it could just be a process of doing some inner child work during this Mercury retrograde. Retrogrades don't tend to mean that necessarily, but specific to Mercury, but they can. This is possibly also a little bit about the Uranian retrograde as well. But yeah, so let's dive into some notes from the universe on love and connection. Spirit, what messages do you have for pucker up, buttercup? Being fair and reasonable will earn you respect and admiration, but being genuinely kind will make you a total love magnet. Go for love magnet. Maybe that's what this Ace of Swords is doing, is it's helping you to be kinder, not just to other people, but maybe a little bit to yourself too, right? Like we can always, sometimes it's so much easier to be kind to others than it is to be really gentle with ourselves. Things are about to get really juicy. Well, I like that energy. That's fun. A little heads up on an addiction that afflicts all really old souls. Giving love eventually becomes an even greater need than receiving love. See, you're not strange. Love the universe. Things are about to get really juicy. Are you ready? Are you ready for juicy? Hey, Chicken Little, do you want to clear this? I have a job. There you go. Oh, thank you. Okay. Let's see what we got here. I don't need to find my purpose. My purpose will find me. It's possibly also this Ace of Swords too. And usually it's hiding in plain freaking sight, you know? I make time to recharge my battery. The world needs my energetic light. So don't be afraid to set boundaries and say no. Okay, so because your no's are like, that's actually how you access your best yeses, right? So you are not alone. Dearest you, there are times where you get lost but refuse to see your part in things. Happens to everyone. Something feels familiar but sort of off. If you're feeling confused, it is best to throw away that map you're using, which only lets you navigate based on your past experiences. That's where I feel like this like reparenting, right? That isn't what you need right now. Instead, take a deep breath and open to the truth. A desire to stay in denial means that part of you doesn't want to be responsible for the pattern that's showing up in your life. Yes, this is the right time to wake up and start again. By the way, you will always get another chance. You have unlimited chances to start again. We love you so much. We really do. Be gentle with yourself. Coming out of denial is like being temporarily blinded by super bright lights. Allow your eyes to adjust. Carry on, special one. A beautiful life awaits. Loving you so, so much. So that's where this Tower could come into play. Like, it's like you're seeing something about yourself. So just that gentle, like the Four of Swords showing up twice, like be gentle with yourself in that realization, because I feel like something's shifting here in a very profound way. Like we have the Tower, we have Judgment, both Pluto, both energies of Pluto. We have the Death card. So some Scorpio energy. We have the World, which is Saturn. Like these are not impossible things. These are not necessarily even hard things, but these are tough things if we're resisting, right? If we're resisting. And the wheel is sort of like this, I see it as being like this cosmic t-shirt cannon that just shoots us forward in these beautiful ways. Like I think about it in terms of Mario Kart, and I haven't played it for a while, but and I usually only play it with my friend Steph, which is always fun. But it's like where you hit those, like, it's almost like instead of rumble strips, it's like these little things that like speed your car up. Like they're just, and you're off, right? You take off, but not too fast because you could skid right off the road. But it's like those parts where it's like it rockets you forward. And I feel like that's what the wheel is here. The wheel is here in that way. And I feel like the World is also showing up as a wheel, as is the Ace of Pentacles. So it's almost like, it's like, kind of finding, like, it's like your awareness is this fourth wheel that makes the car go, because we have the Ace of Pentacles as one, the World is the other, the Wheel of Fortune as this one here, and then it's sort of like this truth that you're telling yourself. It's like allowing it to just be good, like allowing yourself to see, and not doing it in a way that forces things, but just like releasing, because then that wheel can be put into motion, then that wheel can move, then that wheel has momentum, it's free to do something. And not just do something, but like it carries you forward. So it's allowing that to be the case. So that is your reading for today, my lovely daily creatives. If this resonated, please give it a like and subscribe. I'd love to have you on the channel if you're not here already. If you're just visiting, that's fine too. But if you are joining from my subscriber base, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. So thank you for that. And as always, wherever this finds you on the time-space continuum, morning, afternoon, or night, I hope it finds you very, very well, my friends. Take care.